Hi everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Christy Chitengi, and as the title of this video suggests, it's all about how I got my South African citizenship. So I'm officially a South African citizen. It's been a grueling 5-year journey, which I'm going to detail. But before I go into this, please like and subscribe and share this with anyone else that you think might find this useful, or anyone who is in the same situation. Also, please go and watch my first video where I give the background about my citizenship application and the law and the whole process from then till now. I'll also link that video in the description box so you can have a look, and so that this video makes more sense. So like I said, I've been in this journey to become a South African citizen from 2019. As you would know from the previous video, I was born in South Africa to two foreign national parents, and so I used a provision in the South African Citizenship Act which grants people like me citizenship once you turn 18. So I applied in 2019. That was a very long time ago. And so I applied in 2019 on affidavit because the Department of Home Affairs had not yet passed any application form guiding us how to do this. So I got the help of lawyers to help me draft this affidavit. We sent it to Home Affairs and crickets. They said absolutely nothing. We followed up multiple times. We emailed, we called, we went to the offices of Home Affairs, and no one knew anything, or it was just absolute silence. And then in 2022, my lawyers also added a supplementary affidavit because life from the time I applied to then, lots had developed in my personal life and in my personal circumstances. So they drafted a supplementary affidavit and sent that to Home Affairs as well. Wrote letters, wrote emails, called, went to the Department of Home Affairs to inquire. Absolutely no response. And so when we saw this, my lawyers advised that we go the legal route and take the department to court, because they were failing to engage, failing to correspond, and failing to acknowledge my application. And so mid-2022, that's when we started preparing the court documents so that my matter can be set down before a judge. So for those of you who don't know, legal processes, it takes quite long in itself. You don't just decide you're going to court tomorrow. You have to draft extensive papers, file that, give the opponent an opportunity to respond, and so that also contributed to the long period of time that it took. So we had to draft what we call a notice of motion and a founding affidavit. The notice of motion notifies the opponent that we are making this court application, and we detail everything, what we're asking for, what the timeframes are, what my story is, and how I qualify for this. And so we filed that and we sent that to the court, gave the Department of Home Affairs an opportunity to answer to our affidavit. So you give them legal procedure, you give the opposing party sufficient time to answer to your papers, and then you can, once they filed an answer, you then file a reply. So you fight on the papers. There is no going to court and me arguing with the Department of Home Affairs. We fight on the papers, we get a court date, and then our lawyers come to court and argue our application. So Home Affairs didn't oppose. They did not oppose. They didn't even file an answering affidavit in the prescribed time. We gave them enough time. We even gave it some extra time, followed up, still nothing. And because they didn't oppose, and we need to move this matter on, and we can't not do anything because the opposing party is being inactive, we then set the matter down on the court roll, on the unopposed court roll. So if your application is not being challenged, it's going to go on the unopposed court roll, and then you get allocated a date, which is what happened. we got allocated a date for February 2022. February, the court date, just like a week before the court date, Home Affairs replied to my lawyers and said that they would like to settle out of court and we shouldn't go to court, and that they have granted me my citizenship and that I should go to my nearest Home Affairs office and apply for my ID, sign the, what do they call it? The Declaration of Allegiance, which says that I declare my allegiance and my alliance to South Africa, and then you bring 2 witnesses and their IDs and they must just attest. They take your fingerprints, the whole ID application process. So I underwent that. I went and I did that. That was February 2022. Great, I'm excited, everything's going well. Then we don't hear about the outcome of my ID application. I haven't had an email, I haven't had an SMS telling me that my ID is ready for collection. And so once again, my lawyers followed up through emails and letters and calls, and I went to the offices, and multiple times there was no one who could explain. No one knew what I was talking about. It was just absolute radio silence. But fortunately, I spoke to the manager at the branch that I went to, and he was telling me that he looked on the system and he saw that I did lodge my ID application, but the person at the department who was accepting my application did not send my ID application to the head office in Pretoria so that they allocate me an ID number. So that was not done, and it was a misstep on their side, and it was just failing to follow. So like I was saying, the Department of Home Affairs, it was just them not following proper procedure and not seeing my application for my ID all the way through. And so this took us to, this is when I was notified in February 2023 that they hadn't processed my initial ID application that I had applied for in February 2022. I was notified in February 2023. And so I made another application, and the manager had instructed that he was going to send my application and that everything would be done according to the proper operations procedure. I must say that throughout all of this, every visit I went to the Department of Home Affairs, I was met with a lot of reluctance, a lot of confusion, and no one knew what I was talking about. Like, to just get the application form for an ID was a lot of effort, despite having been instructed to go and make my ID application by the Director General. So it was very clear that there is lack of communications with the law and court orders and the Department of Home Affairs' legal team with people who work in the satellite offices. There's a big disconnect there, and it really needs to be addressed, and something I'm giving a lot of thought to just make these processes more seamless, and making sure that everyone understands what's happening and what the law says so that they can give proper effect to it. And so this is 2023 February, I made the second ID application. And then in August 2023, I received notification that my ID was out and ready for collection. And yeah, I couldn't believe it. I was attending law school and I just got a random call and I was like, oh my goodness, I couldn't believe it. It was collection was such a seamless process. And so we're done. So it's been a 5-year process, and I'm so grateful for all the people that have supported me through this. This is all I spoke about. This consumed my life and continues to consume my life. Even though I'm on the other end, I really want to make sure that others don't have to go through a 5-year process to enforce their legislative rights, and just to help and figure out what it is that we can do through advocacy, through the law, to make this more of as seamless as can be. We know all DHA processes are not seamless, but I think it's important that we do our very best with what we have. And also, yeah, I was just saying, I'm so grateful to everyone who's made this such a great process, my attorneys, people who referred me to my attorneys, the interns that I consulted with, the people who let me in on the process and consulted me and like made me feel a part of it and made my voice heard. The DHA officials, some were kind, and it was not that they were horrible people. They just there was no instruction and clear direction on how they do this. And I just hope that this video gives someone in a similar situation hope. It's a long journey. It's not going to be easy. It is hard on you emotionally, in addition to the practical things that not having an identity document does. And I just want you to know that you're not alone and that it is possible. It might take 5 years, but it is possible. And please reach out if this video is not clear. In the other video, I put a lot of resources in the description box of my other video with lawyers that you can approach who can assist you and guide you. But it's anything is possible. And when you're on the right side of the law, anything is possible. It'll just take a little longer to get there. But yeah, please feel free to put some questions in the comment section. I will be actively monitoring those and replying. And yeah, I hope you all have a great day further, and thank you for watching my video. Bye.